Hello viewers, my name is Chris Urquhart, and this is an episode of Math Help. So here's a little slide about Math Help. As you know, my name is Chris Urquhart, I'm the owner and founder of Math Help. Math Help is an online website that helps students out with any math questions from grades 9 to 12. We make instructional, step-by-step videos so students can understand. Our goal is to help our viewers get the highest possible grades. Just before we get started, what do you need to solve a math problem? Well, you need the question, a calculator, a pen or pencil, a sheet of paper, and patience. Over these next couple of slides, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process on how to solve this problem. But first, we need to know the question. What we will be solving? Page 304, question number 8 from Advanced Functions textbook. Here it is. The demand function for snack cakes at a large bakery is given by the function p of x equals 15 divided by 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. The x units are given in thousands of cakes, and the price per snack cake, p of x, is in dollars. Question A, find the revenue function for the cakes. Question B, estimate the marginal revenue for x equals 0.75. What is the marginal revenue for x equals 2? So over these next couple of slides, I'm going to be taking you through a step-by-step process on how to solve this problem. But first, step number 1, identify what problem it is. As you can see here, I have bolded some key information. In thousands and revenue. In thousands, it's related back to finance, and revenue is obviously revenue. It is a finance and revenue problem, which is equated to a rational problem. And because it's words, it is a word problem. Step number 2 is to read the problem and highlight the key parts. Again, the demand function for snack cakes at a large bakery is given by the function p of x equals 15 divided by 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. I have highlighted this. You need this function to solve the problem because we will be subbing in values and etc. to get our complete answer. And I also have highlighted the x units are given in thousands of cakes, and the price per snack, p of x, is in dollars. So this tells us what represents what, and what units are we talking about, and the scale of our graph, and the scale of how much revenue can possibly be made or lost. Step number 3, understand what the question is asking you. So we've read the question a couple times, but do we really know what it is asking of us? Part A, find the revenue function for the cakes. Part B, estimate the marginal revenue for x equals 0.5. And then what is the marginal revenue for x equals 2.00? So by estimating, that triggers in our mind we're going to be looking at something, we're going to be getting a good estimate of, hey, where is this graph at? And by marginal revenue, we're probably going to be solving something into a function and solving from there. And again, we need to find the revenue function, and we're given the profit function. So now that we know what the question is asking us, step number 4 is to figure out what formulas you will need in order to solve this problem. So because we are given an equation, it is crucial to be using that equation to solve this problem. I really emphasize that. Another point is this problem is from the rational functions in IROC unit. So we need to be using IROC and possibly AROC and rational functions unit. Therefore, we are likely to be graphing something. And hey, it's a profit revenue function. So, but what I mean by graphing is we're going to be able to look and determine this is this point and this is that point. So here's something that lots of people might forget about when they're solving a math problem. For us, this is step 5. It's simple. Make a plan, then solve. You simply do not go into the tests without studying. Preparation is key. Am I going to do the communication question? Am I going to do the thinking questions first? what am I going to do? We need to make a plan, and then we need to solve it. So just simply break it up. Because this is a two-part question, I know I'll need to split the equation up and solve it one by one, so I'm thinking very simple and efficiently. First, I will solve question A, find the revenue function for the cakes. Next, I will solve part B, estimate the marginal revenue for x equals 0.75, and what is the marginal revenue for x equals 2. So now, finally, we can actually solve the problem. Step number 6 is to solve part A. Okay, so the demand function for snack cakes at a large bakery is given by the function p of x equals 15 over 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. The x units are given in thousands of cakes, and the price per snack, p of x, is in dollars. Find the revenue function for the cakes. So as you can see, I've worked a little equation out at the bottom of the page. So here's the answer. The revenue function is equivalent to the profit function multiplied by our variable, which is x. So as you can see, the difference is the variable x has gone beside the 15. So that will be able to tell us what is the revenue by plugging in a single value. Therefore, we will get 15x divided by 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. Okay? But we need to factor the denominator. Because look, it's 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. We need to factor that to make sure that when we're graphing, it's going to be easy, it's going to be simple, and we're going to understand it better. So therefore, we get r of x equals 15x divided by 2x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 5. Nice and simple and all cleaned up. And remember, r of x, revenue, is equal to price per unit multiplied the number of units produced or sold. Step 7. Solve part B. Estimate the marginal revenue for x equals 0.75, and what is the marginal revenue for x equals 2. So, first things first, we need to graph this function because we don't know what it looks like, so let's graph it. We've already cleaned up our function by simply factoring simple trinomial, factoring the denominator of our revenue function, 15x divided by 2x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 5. So what I did here, to the right of the screen, is a graph from demos.com, which is a graphing website. I simply plug the equation in and just graph it just to give all my viewers a look at what the graph looks like. But as you know, right at the bottom of the screen, you have to plot the asymptotes at x equals negative 0.5 and x equals negative 5. Just some simple steps to graphing. And then you could use a chart, plot your points out, and you'll get something that looks like that. But because we're limited on time, I just use demos.com and they simply graph the equation for me. There we go. Step number 8. Again, solve part B, estimate the marginal revenue for x equals 0.75, and what is the marginal revenue for x equals 2.00. But first, you're probably wondering, what does marginal mean? Well, marginal means rate of change cost. So, crucial, rate of change to us, IROC, AROC, and that will come on later. But first, we need to estimate the marginal revenue for x equals 0.75. So what I've done here, I've cut the graph up, and I'm showing you the right part of the graph, which is the positive, and that's what we need to be focusing on. So, to estimate the marginal revenue at x equals 0.75, you'll need to use a tangent line and our best judgment possible. A tangent line is just simply by drawing a point to the left, drawing a point to the right, and drawing a line that intersects with that line. And so it's something that we can see, and it tells us what the ROC of this graph is. So as you can see here, at x equals 0.75, we can see that the function is between 0.3 and 0.5. Therefore, estimation-wise, we can conclude that the estimated marginal revenue is between 0.3 to 0.5. So, step 9. Solve part B. What is the marginal revenue for x equals 2.00? So, it's not saying estimation, it's saying what is. So we need to calculate that. So we got our graph now. And as I previously mentioned on the last slide, marginal means rate of change. Hint, hint, we got to use IROC and we have to use AROC to find that small difference in that rate of change. So here we go. Here's the process. On the left side of the screen, I've laid out all the calculations. And please refer to the graph if you need some help visual to kind of figure out this problem inside of your head. So to do this, we need to sub 1 point to the left of x equals 2, and 1 point to the right of x equals 2. We need to use the equation. That's the most important thing. R of x equals 15x divided by 2x squared plus 11x plus 5. We need to use a point to the left, which is 1.999, and a point to the right, which is equal to 2.001. So let's sub that into the equation, but let's go one at a time. Let's sub 1.999 into the equation, which is a point to the left. And therefore, we get a number at 0.857195662. And we get 1.99, and that's our x and y coordinates laid out from left to right. X being 1.999, y being 0.857195662. Important, don't round, okay? Keep going with those decimals because the change will be very small. And repeat with the point to the right, which is 2.001. Plug that into the equation, and that will tell us what our y coordinate is. Again, using an x and y coordinates, we got 2.001 divided by 0.857106093. Keep carrying on those decimals. We can't round. We cannot stop. But how do we get the rate of change? We have to use the AROC formula, which is given by y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So I put the equation there right on the screen, and as you can see, we get a negative number, negative 1.57 after doing all the math. Plug it in your calculator, and that will give you negative 1.57. So you're probably wondering, why is that negative? What is the logic behind the answer? So again, marginal revenue at x equals 2.00 equals negative 1.57 after we applied the IROC and AROC technique. But you're looking at the graph and you're saying, how does this make sense? Well, as you can see, we plugged in some points before, and look at the difference. Y is decreasing from 2 to 3. Therefore, we can conclude our rate of change is correct. It's negative. It is decreasing at that point in time. So, there we go. As simple as that, just some step-by-step process, and you'll be able to solve the problem. You know, a quick tip for everybody. The internet is very, very resourceful. Your textbooks, your teachers, anything is very, very resourceful. Make sure you're asking questions. Make sure you're clarifying stuff, and you'll be sure to get a good mark. But hey, Chris, when am I going to use this in real life? A relevant math career, you know, an entrepreneur, someone who starts their own business can have various educational backgrounds and can be creative with the kind of business they have. And because this is a finance question, an entrepreneur is relevant to this finance and revenue question because they can plan and purchase for their business without overspending, underspending, and make sure that they're achieving the highest profitable revenue to keep that business going. And they could even, they could do tutoring, which involves math every day. Thank you again. See you next time.